Um, any comments that are be said in the chat, I cannot read them. Okay, now that I see people are in. Excuse me. I first want to say thank you for everyone who has helped at this time. This is probably one of the most difficult things I've probably ever had to do. This is an emotional time for many of us. And I want to preface this. Someone had given me a piece of advice 5 years ago, and they had told me if you don't stand for anything, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. 5 years ago, at 9 o'clock at night, I got a phone call from a good friend of mine asking me if I would go to Oakland City Hall the next day to potentially help save our Raiders from a move back to Los Angeles. And that night I had told him I couldn't go because I had work in school. And that night, I couldn't sleep because if I didn't do anything to try and get involved and help keep my Raiders, I would never be able to live with myself. So the following day, I called off from school and I called off from work, and I went to Oakland City Hall, and our journey began collectively between the Oakland community and Raider fans across the world. And along the way, with our passion in the community of Oakland and our Oakland Raiders, we all began a mission. And I've been fortunate that many of us took me on maybe as your leader. If I'm going to be here through the good times, I have to be here through the tough times. And I'm not crying just because we lost our beloved Raiders. But as I speak right now, all of the family and friends that I have made through this journey is insurmountable, and you cannot put a price tag on it. It is only fair and right for me to be able to come on through the good times, but also through the times that are most difficult. I'm going to address a few issues with the Oakland Raiders in the city of Oakland that I know through my involvement. Many of us as Oakland Raider fans, whether we live in Northern California or we travel from Los Angeles to all across the United States, many of us have spent thousands of dollars on season tickets. The city of Oakland has outspent the Raiders by almost $300 million to nothing. Many of us have families. Many of us sacrifice. We pick up a second job to go see our Raiders. During an 0-10 season in the middle of the rain, many of us packed up in the rain and filled the Coliseum. The following year, we sold out and are now currently on 20,000 season ticket wait list. During that time, Mark Davis has said that he wanted to stay in Oakland, but he never spent a dime in Oakland. Mark uses the excuse that the city of Oakland raised the rent on him. Had Mark Davis raised the cheapest tickets in the league by $10, Mark Davis would have been able to pay the increased rent and come out with a $3 million profit in his pocket. While many of us went to city council meetings, environmental impact report meetings, exclusive negotiating agreement meetings, Measure BB, which included $90 million of infrastructure, Mark Davis and the Oakland Raiders were never present at any of these meetings, while many of us took time off of our daily routine on a Tuesday night to help and fight keep the Raiders here in Oakland. Is Mayor Libby Schaaf, Mayor Gene Kwan, and the other politicians, do they bear some fault? Absolutely they do. But we do not elect officials to build billion-dollar stadiums, we elect officials to take care of our roads and our police department. Mayor Libby Schaaf presented a plan to start a negotiation. Mayor Libby Schaaf could not negotiate with herself. While Mark Davis said that he wanted to stay in Oakland, quickly after getting rejected from Carson, he took his efforts, his time, and his energy, neglected his current season ticket holders that have been loyal to him for over 20 years, and took his efforts to Las Vegas without spending a dime in Oakland. At this point, as hurtful as I am that the Raiders are gone, and I'm standing here before my friends and my family, I cannot with good conscience follow a football team that took its local community and its season ticket holders for granted and not spending a dime for us while we took time off of our school and work to go to city council meetings over the last 5 years to pass a piece of legislature while Mark Davis never showed up. The crap excuse that the A's are in the way, why is it that the Seahawks and the Mariners can play together on the same plot of land with no parking? We as fans, are now facing the repercussions and the decisions made by billionaires. Furthermore, with $750 million plus an extra $200 million in public subsidies from the city of Las Vegas, Mark Davis is also taking on even $1 billion extra in debt. To translate this to football terms, when it comes for Khalil Mack and Derek Carr to take on a contract, Mark Davis is so poor he will not be able to upfront the money like the Miami Dolphins did with Ndamukong Suh. To recap, I can no longer, in good conscience, support an organization led by Mark Davis while he never spent a dime or time or effort, while many of us did here in Oakland, at the same time trying to fleece or put a community at risk who ranks dead last in education. I am coming on here to say thank you all very much. We all did this together, and we all created a lot of memories. This is bigger than football for us. I cannot say thank you all enough. It wasn't just me and it wasn't just Grizz, but it was all of us collectively as a community. I personally will not cast judgment on anybody who wants to follow the Raiders, go see the Raiders, and that is your prerogative, and I will respect that. I just ask you that you humbly respect other people's decisions on whatever they do. But I just want to come on here and tell you that if I can come on here in my time of happiness and joy, I can also come in here in one of my weakest times.